Hi, Journey Experts. Welcome to this month marketing webinar. I'm so excited about the topic that we're having today. It's ways that you can find the hidden gems on your website. But beyond that, I'm excited about the speaker. She has over 25 years of experience as a digital marketing strategist. And one of our books is coming out soon. So, Philippa, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, good morning. Oh, good evening, wherever you are. So I'm Philippa. I'm a digital marketing and analytics strategy person, which basically means I help people get more out of their websites. So analytics, I know, is something that people can find quite overwhelming. Lots and lots of data, lots and lots of charts. So I'm here to kind of give you an idea of what it can do for you that's going to be really helpful in making your websites do a whole lot more for your business.
Fantastic. We're excited to learn more about that because the website is actually very valuable, especially with the way the world is changing and also with consumer behavior. Could you please tell us a bit about your book? That's another thing I'm excited about.
So, well, my book isn't out yet. I'm in the middle of writing my book. But my book is designed
Okay.
for business owners who are maybe new to analytics, smaller and medium-sized businesses where they don't have a full-time analytics person. Maybe they're not sure what analytics can actually do for them. And it's designed to be in English. So there's an awful lot of material online, which is very techy. If you want to know how to use the interface of, like Google Analytics and tool and all of that in terms of technical stuff and screenshots, there's plenty. But my book is different because it's designed for business owners to help you think about how to think and how to approach it, what it can mean for your business in terms of your actual business strategy and your goals. So it's not techy, it's not full of charts and numbers. And I don't honestly think there's anything like it on the market. So we'll see what happens when it comes out.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Let's just carry on with your session.
Well, I actually looked at a few of your websites that people had, I think, sent you. I didn't actually get to access any of their analytics, so everything I'm saying is a complete guess. I think I have an idea of what their analytics are doing for them. I'm just going to make a few points, and then you can maybe ask me some questions or something like that, and we can see where we go.
Yeah, sure, that works.
So I don't know how. I've not used this platform before. Do I click present?
Yes, please click present and then I'll give you access to make your presentation.
That one. Share.
Okay. Yes, I think I can see your screen.
There we go.
Yes, I just added it to the
All right.
yeah.
So I'm showing a few of the screens of the websites that you sent me. And if anybody from those businesses is watching, I just want to say up front, this is designed to be constructive and hopefully helpful. I have not seen your analytics, so something that I say is complete rubbish. You have to excuse me. I'm just guessing from the front and from using a few diagnostic tools that tell me what your analytics are currently tracking. But obviously I can't see your actual visitor numbers. So just a few tips. And really what I want to do is show you the power of analytics and some of the things that you might consider doing more of or differently to improve what you're getting. Okay, so here we have, where are we now? Sandhill Adventures. And one thing I did notice about all your sites is that the photography is absolutely gorgeous. There's all these sites with lots and lots of beautiful images on. But let's take an example here. By the way, you can see down in the bottom here, they have a chat function, which is very nice. I haven't tried it, so I don't know if they're there or not at the moment. But here's something that of all the sites that I looked at, I don't think are doing. So we can start scrolling down the screen here. And obviously I'm on a laptop here, so a mobile screen would be longer. And again, what we're seeing here is lots of very interesting, we've got kangaroos, we've got ultimate safari, the ultimate 7-day safari down here. I'm still scrolling on down the homepage. They do tailor-made safaris, and now we've got destinations. And so what's my point? This is a very long page. And they've got lots of very interesting things going on down the page. But one of the things that we don't know and that you could know, but I don't think they're measuring it and I'm not sure, is how far down the page people scroll. So in other words, if I'm about 3/4 of the way down the page right now, and I'm looking at these particular trips, right? If I hadn't scrolled 3/4 of the way down the page, I might not know that these trips are available. And one of these trips might be exactly the trip that I might have wanted if I'd known about it. Now, you could say, yeah, but up here we've got our navigation, and we've got different destinations and so on. But you can't rely on people to click on the navigation at the top. And to some extent, it's a little bit confusing, because if you look at these labels, we've got tours and safaris, and then we've got destinations, then we've got mountain trekking, we've got Zanzibar, and we've got tailor-made safaris. I unfortunately have not had the opportunity to travel to Africa yet. I'm not honestly sure what the difference is between all of those. So obviously mountains is mountains, I get that. And Zanzibar means in Zanzibar, but then is that, if I want a safari in Zanzibar, do I click here? Do I click here? And then you've got tailor-made. So, my point being, your navigation needs to be really, really clear in terms of what each tab means to a visitor who isn't familiar with your business. And you can't rely on people to click on those navigation tabs. I can tell you that whatever business I've ever worked with, that's true. And so what happens is people are going to scroll down and they get on this page. So we've got lots and lots of different things. And again, if I don't scroll all the way down, I'm not going to see some of these, right? So now with analytics, one of the things that you can do is to set it to tell you when people scroll specific amounts down the page. So you can say, tell me when somebody's gone, 25%, 50%, 75%. The default, if you're using Google Analytics, which all these sites are, is 90%. But 90% of a long page is pretty far down. So if somebody has only got halfway down, you're not going to know that. And then you've got all of this content in the lower half of the page that in fact most of your visitors aren't seeing, if that's the case. Now I stress, I don't know if that's the case on this site, because I haven't seen the actual analytics and because I don't think they're measuring this. If you don't set your analytics up to measure this specifically, because this is not something that Google Analytics does automatically, you won't get this information. It's not hard to set up. You just need to have somebody who knows how to do it. But it can be absolutely valuable, because if people don't see some of your really important content, they're not going to know about it. And then, of course, they're not going to, you're potentially losing business because people don't know that some of the things that you offer is available. Okay, so Esther, does that make sense? I'm just wanting to check in with you.
Yes, it does. Definitely, it does make sense.
Okay, so tip one, anybody with really long pages, think about adding in this measurement of how far down the page people are scrolling. And then if you notice that something that you really want people to see is not being seen, you can move it up the page, you can add pointers to it, you can do lots of different things, but at least you've got the information. Now you can do something about it. Okay, let's move along. And one of the things that I noticed on this, we're still on the Good Time Safaris page. Notice here we got a form, and as you can see, I typed in. One of the things that we can do is to check how many people submit a form. Now, you might think that you already know that, but we can also check when they start filling it in. So one of the things that we can tell is if people start filling in your form, but they don't submit it. And that could mean there's something confusing about your form. For instance, I looked at this PAX, P-A-X number, and I know this is a very familiar term in the travel industry, but as somebody who's not a travel industry professional, I had to think about, well, wait, what does that mean? And of course, it means the number of people, right? But if I'm not sure about what that means, and then of course it does give me a drop down here. You want to make sure that people aren't getting put off. And then here it's asking for my budget. I just put a number there to play with it. But what does that mean? Right now, I may not have any idea what the prices that I'm looking at are. And so it's possible that people start to fill in your form and then they see stuff that they don't understand or that doesn't make sense. And this calendar actually is quite difficult to deal with, because as you can see, it's blocked by this content here. So if people are, you can see whether people are starting to fill in a form and not completing, which, and again, this isn't something that Google Analytics will do automatically. You have to get it set up. It's not that, again, well, depending on the form, is not necessarily difficult to set up. But it's something that's worth doing, because if your forms are confusing to people, you're going to be losing leads. Esther, again, let me just check in with you. Did that one make sense? Esther, are you there? No, okay, not listening. All right. Let's move on to a different one. So here we have a long, wait a minute. I'm not sharing. I want to share this tab. There we go. We have a long list of tours and things that you can do. And just really a note that it's worth, here we have the, at the bottom, so we've gone through all the days of what you can do and all the really amazing stuff that you're going to get to see. And then we have here, as you can see, it gives us the price, which is great, because some of the sites that I was looking at actually didn't show the price. But the problem here is when people start seeing things and they want to take action, and especially because you've got a button here that says reserve, people are looking for something to click on. And this is really something to think about. If you've got something that people can click on, you need to let them click on it. And none of this, I can click the date, click the price, click the reserve button. None of this is clickable. And so if I'm looking at this screen right now, nothing that I can see here is giving me something that I can click to say, okay, please tell me more. That's really bad news, to be very honest. And again, with the analytics, and again, this is a more sophisticated use of analytics, but it's perfectly possible, I could tell whether people are hovering over these elements, which means that they're trying to click them and they're not clicking. And I could easily see whether this is in fact something that is putting people off. And if you then notice that people try this and then they leave, right there, again, you know you've got a lost lead or potential lost lead. Okay, so even though as we come down, there's a form here, and it's strange. It's got a little bit of a placeholder here. I'm not sure why it says Charlie, but anyway. But, you know, really be aware if you've got a photo that people might want to click on, any point where they're going to say, tell me more, you want to give them something to click on, because this is a real sort of frustration point. Okay, let's move along. And here we are in the, I'm not sure how you say this, some bush camp. Amazing photos again. As you can see again, lots and lots of content. Notice here something that's happening that's a little bit off-putting, is that the text, so this navigation bar stays static, but as the text move up here, it gets in the way of the navigation bar. I'm not sure if there's a way to fix that. I'm not a designer, but I just did notice that that might be a little bit difficult. But again, beautiful, beautiful photography. And again, you know, this call to action is really, really important. So from all of my experience in everybody that I've worked with, I can tell you people don't spend a lot of time working out what to do if it's not right in front of them. And you need to give them a really easy way to get in touch with you. And we come to the bottom of the page and we've got WhatsApp, we've got an email here, or a visit us on Google Maps. But what we don't have is an easy form to fill in or an easy way to contact me. So it may be that I don't want to talk to you immediately. If I can click this email, but that means, you know, I've got to fire up my email program and write email. Forms are really so much more helpful in terms of giving what you want to do is make it as easy as possible for whoever is doing business with you or wants to do business with you to contact you. So again, on this page, just looking at the calls to action. So messages, think about your scrolling, think about your forms, figure out if people are not filling in your forms completely, think about where your calls to action are and where to put them just whenever somebody wants to or might want to engage with you or learn more or do something. Give them something to click on right there. Don't give them any elements that they will look at and think should be clickable that aren't. And finally, one more example. On Gassy Tours. So again, here we have this amazing beach tour, the largest living lemur. Very nice information. But now here we get into the description of the tour, and we can see that each day you have to click on this plus sign, and then you get the description. Now I know you're trying to save space here, but again, if I was looking at this site, and so I'm stressing here, I don't know if this is a problem or not because I haven't seen the actual analytics. And again, you would need to customize this to make the analytics show you. But the analytics could show you how many people come to this page and how many people then actually click on these plus signs to see the actual information for that day. Because if they don't, they're obviously you're wasting the opportunity to show them how amazing it's going to be. And it may be that this is just a step too far. And then, of course, obviously, nobody's going to click on a thing that says airport transfer because nobody wants to think about going home. And again, just to really make the point, this is where a call to action would be great. If they've read through the whole of the description of the trip, again, here, nothing to do, right? We've got what's included, what's not included, discover our pricing. And again, I can't click this. So to discover our pricing, and I can't click this. So this is really a problem because it looks like I should be able to click this. At least if you're only going to give an email address, I should be able to click. I can't. This is probably starting to put people off. Again, we can see if they hover over these elements, if they try to engage with them. We can record what they do on each window. So again, this isn't by we don't know who the individual is, but we can see what a visitor does, and we can see if they're trying to click here. And if they are, that's a really great clue for you that you need to do something about this. Okay, so as I said, I hope that this is really offered in terms of trying to be constructive. The sites are gorgeous photography and so on. But I really think that there are some things that all these sites are running analytics, but as far as I can see, they're not running the level of analytics, which wouldn't be that hard to do, but that would give them so much more information about how to optimize their sites. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing.
Fantastic. Those are great insights. I never really looked at it that way.
But just those tips can be very powerful.
I didn't quite get you. I'm not sure I heard what you said.
I was just saying, there's obviously an awful lot I could say, but I just wanted to give a few tips as starting points that people could use. But I think any one of those tips could be quite powerful for those sites and for any other site that's got a similar kind of setup.
Exactly, I agree with you, especially on the CTA part of things. And I feel like that's very true. If you want people to take action, then you must make it easy for them to take action. So we shouldn't just have a CTA there, it has to be clickable. And I think that's quite insightful. I do have a couple of questions here, so I'm just going to read them to you. The first question is, what are some common but overlooked design issues that can negatively affect user experience on a website?
Yeah, so I think to be honest, it's a great question, and I think I sort of covered some of them. I mean, one is, as you saw, where the text overwrote the links, or it was kind of interfering with the navigation links at the top. I should stress, I'm not a designer, so I don't know how to fix that, but I'm sure it's obviously fixable because, for example, this one doesn't do it. You can see the one I just showed, you can see on it that the top bar where the navigation is fixed, and then everything comes underneath it, but doesn't overwrite it. Forms is a really interesting, as I said, it's really helpful to track forms and see if people start filling them in but don't. You want to give people as much help as possible to fill in a form. You also don't want to ask people too many questions. The more questions you ask them, the less likely they are to complete the form. So what you want to think about is, how much do I really need to know, and to get them to contact me, and then we can have more of a conversation and I can find out more about them. And calls to action really is the other one. So you want to make sure, I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah, you want to make sure that you've got a call to action, or that people, at the point where people are likely to want to click something. So I'm repeating myself, but those really are such big ones, and you can see that they happen quite often on a lot of different sites.
Right. Thank you so much. I have another question here. It says so this travel website currently have like 50 visits every month, and their domain rating is 2. So they're asking how they can prioritize fixing error. So it seems as though this person already recognized that there are several errors with a website, or there are several things that can be wrong
So,
for them to
sorry,
have.
I'm getting lost. Can you start again and say it
Can you hear?
slower?
Okay, so this person is asking, this is their question. I have 50 monthly visits and my domain rating is at 2. How can I prioritize fixing website errors?
So the domain authority is, I guess that's what they're saying. I'm not sure how relevant that is today, and I'm not an SEO expert. That really is to do with SEO. But if you are wanting to work on your SEO, search engine optimization, so you show up in searches, there's a separate Google tool called Search Console, which tells you, it's a fantastic analysis of your SEO readiness and where you might have problems with search engines. And so that's different from Google Analytics, which is my main expertise. But if that person wants to do better in search, I would recommend that they implement Google Search Console, which is also free, and then use that to diagnose where they might be falling down as far as search goes. Did that answer the question?
Yes, it does. Definitely, I agree with them having Google Console, because they're just able to track which of their content is doing better, which of their keywords are doing better, and they can just position more of that for growth. That's all I have with the questions. Let me ask Nives if she has questions. Hi, Nives, do you have anything you want us to clarify? Not sure if she can hear me. Okay, I guess she can. Okay. Well, I can hear her. Perhaps she can just say a few things when she's ready. So I was just, could you please help us round up? So, what are your final tips for any travel agents there or tour operator out there starting their website, or even if they've had it for a while but they've not been doing any kind of work on it with regards to analytics?
So if you aren't looking at your analytics, honestly, you're shooting in the dark with everything else that you're doing. So if your website is important to you, and obvious it is, because you want to show these photos, you want to show, and by the way, one thing I didn't notice on any of these sites that I looked at was video. So obviously video these days can really sell as well, and that might be something to think about adding. But if you're not using analytics, you're shooting in the dark, you don't know what's working and what's not working. And I would highly recommend that you implement. So Google Analytics is free. It's not that difficult to implement if you don't know how to do it. Somebody like myself, I have a starter package. It really doesn't cost that much to get it going. Obviously, I also provide more in-depth services, so that's different. But just get analytics working on your site and start to try to figure out some basic things, like, are people clicking where you want them to click? Are they moving around the site? Are they scrolling down all the pages? Are they seeing the content you want them to see? Just try to get your feet wet. And because otherwise you could be losing all sorts of leads and opportunities that you just don't even know about.
So true. I definitely agree with you. I remember the first time I started using my GA4 and I saw some really cool analytics. I was like, oh, because I've been using GSA, I was so stuck with that. I didn't know with GA4 I could find where people are looking for me, who are those reading my content, and begin to create more for that audience. So it's really important to have analytics tool installed on our website. And I was going to ask you if we want to contact you or find you on social media, how can we find you?
So the best way to find me is on LinkedIn. And I saw that you already posted about this webinar on LinkedIn today. So thank you very much. And I also have a website which is called Websites That Win. Websites That Win. And on that is a free ebook that you can pick up, which is 5 ideas from different clients that I've worked with for things that we found in their analytics that they couldn't possibly otherwise have known, and what we did about them is designed just to hopefully inspire you a bit to give analytics a go, and see the kinds of things that, or the kinds of difference that you can make to your site.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I definitely need to visit website that win and I think that we all need to get that ebook. Thank you so much for joining us today, Philippa.
Well, thank you, Esther. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you everyone for joining. Have a great weekend. Bye.